Hey Julio, how much is your first wholesale deal?
12,500.
How much is your second one?
7,500.
How much is your third one?
23,000.
And you currently got one under contract right now.
Yeah, this morning, and it's the same buyer. The $23,000 one we're closing on the 16th, but he already put down deposit and everything. And I actually just got this one under contract as well. That's down the street from this house, and he said he's interested in it as well.
So potentially, how much are you going to make the one that you just got under contract?
Okay, so it's literally the same house, exactly the same house, built the same year. But I actually, since it is actually the 23,000 house, it's actually on market. So I only made 23,000, and this one is off market, and I got it cheaper. So it'll probably make the $25,000 to $30,000 range.
Boom! What's going on, Wholesale to Million family? Welcome back to another subscriber first wholesale deal interview. This is insane. Because Julio, you did all this virtual, right?
Yeah.
So where are you based out of right now?
I live in Salvador, Bahia, in Brazil.
And you wholesale in the U.S.
Yeah, I lived in the U.S. from the time that I was 5 till the time that I was 16, and then I came back to Brazil because my dad was having health issues, all that stuff. Sure. And then I played like professional soccer here, and then I've been here for the last 6 years.
Dang. Okay, bro. So obviously you are a U.S. Citizen.
Yeah, I have a green card. I'm not a citizen.
Okay, good. So because I know a lot of people ask, so Kong, can you wholesale if you're from another country and you only have a green card? Well, here's your answer. The answer is yes, you can do it. You don't have to be U.S. citizen to be able to wholesale.
Yeah, all you need, even if you're not a U.S. citizen, you can open up a business in the U.S. with just a tax ID number. You can wholesale.
Boom. There you go. You guys have your answer right here. Now, let me ask this though, Julio. So you're now in Brazil for the past 6 years?
Yeah, since 2016, so 5 years.
Dang, bro. So because I know in my country, so here's how it works. In my country, if you have a green card and you stay longer than if you stay longer than
6
a year
months
or so, you automatically, I can't remember if it, don't quote me, I don't remember if it's a year or 2 year, whatever, but you automatically forfeit your rights to come back into the U.S.
No, yeah, it's 6 months for Brazil. I don't know if it's if it goes by but it's literally I have to go back and step foot on U.S. soil, and then I can come back.
Yep. So you have to do that every 6 months.
Yeah, basically with COVID, there has been a little bit of since Brazil is technically considered the worst COVID country in the world right now. There's been a little bit of leisure on that, but I haven't been to Brazil. Or before that, I was going back every 6 months just to like see friends and all that stuff. Yeah.
Dang, bro. And how old are you, bro?
I'm 20. I'm turning 21 next month.
And how did you discover wholesaling?
I sent you a message on Instagram, but I was like, he's probably not going to see it, so I sent you an email. I actually don't do wholesaling full time. I want to put that disclosure. I don't do this full time. I didn't want to download TikTok because I already have ADHD, so it's already hard to concentrate on a lot of things, and I didn't want any more distractions in my life. So my friend got it. Was like, yeah, download TikTok. And I think it was like the day, or I said to myself, I'm gonna delete this tomorrow, because I was like 6-7 hours a day on TikTok. And then I came up across your channel, and it was like, yeah, start in wholesale. I do wholesaling. I flip houses completely remotely without ever looking at them. And I was like, I was thinking about getting into flipping in the US because I also want to make that disclaimer. I didn't start from zero. I had funds already. I was going to get into flipping, thinking about getting into flipping, but I didn't want to do that being here because there's too much. It's already a risk as is. And especially with being in another continent, that was basically out of the picture for me. So I looked at that, and then you're the first person that I saw. And then I was like, wow, that's a pretty good idea. I mean, it makes sense. You sell your contract rights to someone else. And then I ended up going into it. I checked out, I think I watched all your videos and watched the Home Shelter guys too. Jerry, the Flipping Genius guy, he helped out a lot of too. But mostly, like, I use your contracts. I use like negotiations as well. So yeah, I basically built myself on top of that.
Good for you, bro. Good for you. Now, for those of you who's watching, and I get a lot of people, and I understand, people think it's too good to be true and this and all that, and it can be a scam. let me tell you this, whether you think you can or you cannot, either way, you're right. All right. And a
Yeah.
lot of times what you need to do is you just need to do a little bit of research, right? Dive into it and then see if there's other people besides the guy that are just saying that he or she can do it. You got to look into and see if there's other people that can do it. And trust me, when you go onto YouTube, just type in wholesaling real estate, and man, there's a bunch of
Yeah.
videos that you can learn from all for free. A lot of people will be like, oh, this guru is selling their course. No, dude, I have over 900 video you can check out all for free. Cost you nothing but time, obviously. So now
Mhm.
let's talk about this, man. So you only do this part-time. So what else do you do?
I own a real estate development company in Brazil.
Oh,
Well, we're moving into real estate development at the moment, but our main focus is construction. And I also own a mortgage company here in Brazil.
oh, dang, bro. At the age of 20.
Yeah, I started when I was 17. After I signed a professional contract at 16, and then I broke my ankle at 17. And then I was just like, that's not for me. And then I started obviously going into business and all that stuff. Started off, I've always worked in sales. I started off as a, I guess would be the equivalent of a mortgage broker in the US. And then from that, I worked as a mortgage broker for about 2 years, started my own business, went bankrupt, and then started a mortgage company. And then from that, just went building.
Dang, bro. Dude, you are a hustler, bro.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur is in your blood, bro.
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously, this helps out a lot because I mean, 43,000. Obviously, it's even in US dollars, it's a
Dude,
lot.
that's a lot of money, bro.
But in Brazil, that's translates to over almost about 250,000 Brazilian currency.
Dude, in my country, 43,000, bro.
Yeah,
Bro, you live like a king. Dude.
but not that much. Not that much here because everything here is so expensive. Like I went out today. Just so you know, here and right now I think it's 4 o'clock. I don't know. Yeah, 4 o'clock. I literally just got back from site. I went and got a new phone, and it was an iPhone 12, and it was 10,000. So everything here is like expensive. Everything
So
here is
now,
extremely expensive.
so now 10,000, what does that equal out to in US dollars?
It'd be like 1,800 US dollars.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Dang, bro. Okay, gotcha.
Things are a little bit more expensive here. Yeah.
I see. Got it. Okay, man. Julio, let's jump in and talk about your first wholesale deal, man.
Mhm.
How do you find the seller? How do you find the
Oh,
buyer? All of that. Every
Okay,
single
my
little thing.
my market, whenever I used to live in the US, was Florida. But then I talked to a friend of mine in Florida, and then he was like, man, Florida's super competitive at the moment. Maybe check out other stuff. And then this was before, it took me about 2 months to actually start. I was looking into wholesaling for about 2 months, like watching videos. Like I even knew how to fill out a contract before I even started calling people. So yeah. And then I was just like, man, if I never get into this, I'm never gonna make any money. I'm just gonna watch other people make money.
Yeah.
So I started actually calling, and then I do something that I call like Redfin traveling, I guess. You kind of just like look at Redfin areas where there is a lot of flips, or sorry, not flips, but fixer uppers. And I just built on top of that. And then I ended up getting PropStream. PropStream was really good too. And then I just got a list in Detroit and started calling myself, called about 1,000 numbers. And from that, I was able to get the one guy that I said for the 1,200. And then from there, I got that under contract. And to find the buyer in itself, I called a couple agents and they found the buyer for me.
Gotcha. Okay. So Julio, let's break this down. Now, for those of you, if you need a wholesaling contract, I'll hook you up for free. All right. Just text me over to 1-206-208-0676. 206-208-0676. I'll hook you up with my contract all for free. Cost you nothing. No catch, no nothing. Free. All right. Just shoot me a text to that number. The next thing that Julio mentioned is PropStreams. Man, I've been using PropStreams for many years. Some of you that watch this might have PropStreams. To me, they have the number one data when you want to pull distressed property to target, right? To find that motivated seller. I'll leave that link right below so you can check them out. With my affiliate link, you get a 7 days free trial. And after the 7 days, if you don't like them, you can disconnect and it costs you nothing, okay? So you get that 7 days free trial. I'll leave the link right below. Now, Julio, what list did you pull when you go into PropStreams, man?
I pulled was non-owner Oh, sorry, absentee owner and non-occupied houses.
Okay.
And just an area in Detroit where everything was being redone and all that stuff. A lot of flips going on in that area. And yeah, I basically just pulled in that. Nowadays, you kind of learn to pull more specific lists because it does increase your chances. But everybody was just like, yeah, absentee owners, non-occupied.
Right. Gotcha.
Vacant,
And
yeah.
when you hit, so that was the only list that you pulled to get your first deal.
Yeah, I went through 1,000 numbers by myself.
Okay.
And then nowadays, like it's to a point where now I actually hired a site manager so I can put more time into wholesaling.
I see.
Because for me to go through 1,000 numbers, it took me like a week or maybe like a week and a half, where realistically someone who does it full time could do it in a day or maybe 2 days.
Yep.
So I pulled that list, went through that, got my first lead off that. And off I didn't want to put too much money into it. Obviously, it was kind of an uncertainty at first. And then from the deposit that the other buyer put down, the investor put down, I bought more lists, skip trace that stuff. And then I actually got someone to call those for me.
Gotcha, man. Okay. So so you got a list of 1,000 absentee owner from PropStreams, and you said you got about 1,000 names?
It was like 1,300.
1,300. Okay. So you got about 1,300. And then after you pull that list, dude, where do you take that list to skip trace?
So PropStream offers you their own skip tracing, but I used batch skip trace.
Gotcha.
I feel like for the bigger numbers, it's probably better, and it is a little bit. I used both services. I feel like batch is a little more
accurate.
Accurate, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you, bro. So that's exactly how we do it too. Even though PropStreams have their own skip tracing, but it's not as good as batch skip tracing. And once again, you guys, I'll leave the affiliate link right below. So Julio, take that list, pop it into, now they call it batch leads. Okay, so he take it into batch leads, skip trace that 1,300 names, got their phone number, and basically you just cold call.
Yeah, I did it myself.
Now, bro, did you cold call one number at a time, or do you have a dialer?
No, I don't even have a US number. I have a Skype number. So I was calling through Skype. So, and Skype is super hard to manage everything, because if someone calls you back, it gets lost in like a list of like 10,000 numbers basically. So I had to organize myself really well. I think I still have probably one of the original sheets that I called the first list, and I didn't even put down owner names or anything. It was literally just a piece of paper, and it was yes, no, no, like don't call back, no, just like that, and call them one by one. I feel like realistically, I probably talked to only like 600 people.
Wow. Okay. So now for those of you, I mean, that's one way you can do it, which is the free way, is right. It doesn't cost you any money, because so basically you got to take the phone and pound and call, just punching one number at a time. You're done with that person, you hang up. But for those of you, if you got a little bit of money to start, you can also too is use a company called Batch Dialers. I'll leave them. I'll leave the link again right down below. We used to use Call Tools for our dialer, but we figured that Call Tools, we've been having a lot of trouble with them, and it doesn't work as well. So now we just switch over to Batch Dialers.
Yeah,
so what you guys do is you take your list that you skip trace, you upload into Batch Dialers, and they will call like 10 number at the same time. And then whoever picks up, you get to talk to that person, and whoever doesn't answer, it'll send them to your voicemail. And once you're done with that person, it'll just ring to the next person, So that way you can pound through. So it makes it more efficient. So you can pound through the list a lot quicker that way. Okay. So now let's talk about the, so what's the ARV? What's the ARV of the property?
Wait, 1 second, just going back to the thing you said. Sure. The cold caller I have now, he uses the same company you said. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He uses that because he gets through 15,000 numbers a month. Like he can get through a lot more numbers a month, and without it's not that expensive, honestly. It's like $150 a month, something like that. It's definitely worth it, because calling one by one is brutal.
Dude, let me tell you, man, I think cold calling is extremely tough, bro. It's exhausting.
It's the worst. It's definitely the most. When I first started, if I don't get 1,000, if I don't get at least a lead or something from this, I'm just gonna totally hire someone to do it. but it was, I think it was good for me to actually call the 1,000 people and was able to get a number, because I know what it's like. I know what I can outsource. I know what I can do myself. Obviously, like making offers and actually negotiating with sellers, that has to be you, unless you have like a full team with an acquisition manager and all that stuff. But unless, I wouldn't trust, obviously just a normal cold caller. I use people overseas as well. I saw that you do that, like VA stuff like that, because it's a lot cheaper as well. And that's definitely the best way, because they can call a lot more numbers a lot faster.
I agree. Hey, bro, I absolutely agree with everything that you said. Now, for those of you listen to me, if you're in sales, if you have sales skills, if you're in sales, man, you're gonna crush it. I don't care what business you go into, not just even wholesaling real estate. If you have sales skills, man, you can crush in any business. You just have to have the drives and the motivations, right? And then just stay committed, and you will kill it.
Yeah, there's like a Jordan Belfort quote that he said, "Charisma sometimes beats education."
There you go. That's a good one, bro.
I also didn't graduate high school.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't.
So, so when did you drop out?
I didn't drop out technically. I finished all the way up to the 8th grade, and then I was doing online school, and then they hit me up and they texted me, or they sent me an email. They were like, "Yeah, to do finals, you have to come back to the US." I was like, I'm not gonna do college, so I'm not gonna go, and I just left it as that. But I'm technically considered a high school dropout.
Good for you, man. Good for you. For those of you who's watching this, man, you got 2 high school dropout that started from nothing and make it to the top. So, I mean, just to let you know that this is possible, and it's possible for anybody. You don't need a college degree to succeed. If you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, great, right? Go do your thing. A lot of people, when I put video on TikTok, people think that I am upset or I'm mad or I'm hating on people that have a college degree. I don't. I want my story to inspire and motivate people that are like, hey, Kong, college is not for me. School's not the route for me, man. But I feel like it's the only way for me to succeed. And I want to share with you my story that it's not the only way to succeed. It's not the only way to make a lot of money by having a college degree. There's other ways, just most people don't. And going to college and getting a degree is hard. It's not easy. It's hard. Being an entrepreneur and working for yourself is hard. You choose your hard. Both of them are hard. It's not easy. Being rich is hard. Being broke is hard. I was broke, dude. Life sucks.
Yeah.
Right?
I used to live with my grandma as well before, and then now I'm better.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's not easy, man. So you just got to choose your heart. Which route do you want to go? Now, let's talk about this, man. So the property that you got into contract for the first one, what's the ARV of it?
The ARV of it was about two. The thing is, it was a multifamily home that it would sell at 180 as a multifamily, but converted into a single family, it would sell at 250.
Oh, okay. So is it a duplex or is it like
It was a duplex, but it was a singular entrance 2-unit.
Got it.
The only thing you had to do to like mesh it was to break down literally like a wall.
Okay. Got it. So the buyer ended up turning this into, obviously it makes more sense. It's a single family home.
Yeah.
Okay. So the ARV is 250. So Julio, you did this all over the phone. So when you talked to the seller, what was he asking?
He was asking initially, okay, I didn't have the experience at first to do the numbers correctly. Realistically, at 250 with the amount of stuff it needed to be done with it, because in Detroit, like things are actually going a lot up. Like the rehabs are nice. It only needed about $40,000 worth of work, which should have put everything in at around 140. Realistically, what I should have sold this to an investor for. If you can check my math on that, 250 times 75 should be around 195. But yeah, I probably should have sold it to an investor for 140, and he was asking 125 at first, and I got him all the way down through just like the stuff that you say as well. If he lists this for 125, he's paying 10% in closing, so subtract 12.5 from that, and then put in another like just other stuff. It may sit on market, you might get lower offers, stuff like that. Yeah. So I used all that to get him down to 100, and I ended up selling it for 112.5. But I could have sold it more actually. After we closed and after he put the deposit down, I got an offer for 130.
Okay. Wow.
But I already had the deposit down and everything. Yeah. I was fine with 12.5. It was my first deal. I was just happy with it and I just didn't care. Yeah.
Of course, man. I hear you, bro. Now, okay, so the seller was asked. So when you talked to him, he initially asked 175,
No, 125.
125, and you negotiate and lock it up on a contract for 100K.
100K, yeah.
Good for you, bro. Got it. And then how much was the estimated rehab? You said 40K?
Yeah, 40,000. I talked to some different guys. I mean, I know the model some flippers use, which is like
Yep.
simple, average, and heavy rehabs. It put it at probably around 40,000 because the owner, he actually started it, but he got COVID and
Yep.
he was just really bad, was like in the ICU and all that stuff. So he was just like, I just don't want to deal with that type of stuff anymore. And that's why he was willing to sell it. So there was already some upgrades done. We just had to finish.
I see. Gotcha.
But it was 40,000 just because of the mere size of the house. It was a big house, a 2,300 square foot house.
Right. 2,300. How many bedroom and bathroom?
It was a 4.2, 4.2.5.
4.2. And what does it need?
You needed to do kitchen, all the bathrooms, and probably touch up flooring, and it was already painted. And you needed to break down that wall as well to convert it to a single family.
Makes sense. Okay. So yep, 40,000 rehab makes sense for that big of a house.
Yeah.
Got you, bro. Okay. So yeah, I mean, technically you could have, if all the number makes sense, you could have assigned it to a buyer for 130, 135.
Yeah, that should have been my number, but
Yep.
yeah.
Hey,
The first person who offered it, I was just
deal,
like,
dude.
the first person who sent me an offer, I was like, okay, that's it. I want it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, I just want to make sure if like when I got my first deal too, I was like, dude, just show me that this works. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. Just take this through the finish line. Show me it worked, and boom, done.
Because also he oh sorry. He had also
you go ahead, bro.
He had also someone else contact him, but it was another wholesaler as well. Had the house under contract. I guess he had it for the full 125. Couldn't sell it to anybody at 130, 135. And then since he didn't want to go through that whole process again of going through a title company to then having the wholesaler back out of the contract, he asked me for a deposit, and I had to give him $3,000 deposit. So the first person that offered me money, I was like, yeah, just to have that guarantee,
Right.
So that's why I just sold it.
Gotcha. So now, how much? I'm sorry, but when you say deposit, the 3,000 to the seller?
No, I left it with the title company, earnest money deposit.
Right. But how much was your earnest money with the seller?
I didn't put anything down with the seller.
Okay, so none. And the buyer is the one that gave you the $3,000 deposit.
No, I put down the $3,000 deposit out of my own money, and then he actually for the people who don't wholesale yet are planning to get into it, and on the assignment contract there is a clause that says reimbursement for earnest money deposit. So realistically, I made $26,000, or sorry, I made like $15,500 because there was a $3,000 back that he gave me back.
Right, but so the $3,000 deposit is between you and the seller, right?
Yeah, to hold the earnest money.
Yeah, so there you go, man. So you do put a $3,000 earnest money between you and the seller.
Mm-hmm.
And now first let's talk about how do you found the buyer then, bro?
The buyer, I just called up a couple of real estate agents, and I called somebody who had just sold a house down the street, and it was actually pending, so I was gonna sell in the next couple of days, and his buyer was interested, and he got that full price.
Right, but now how did you go, and now how do you know which agent to call, or where did you get that list?
Okay, the same way that we do ARV, which is we check recent comps in the area, you just literally go to those comps and the recent flips in the area. You can go back even to do ARV. Realistically, you want to do like the last 3 months. But if you want to find investors, you could do the flips in the last year. And I just called up those agents. You can just put their name in on Google and the company they work for, and you'll find the numbers.
Gotcha. Now, for those that are watching, if you're unclear, this is one of the best way to find yourself some really solid buyers. So what you do is you can go back into PropStreams instead of pulling ARV. You just pull everything that is sold, just like Julio said, within the last 3, 6, even a year. all right? And you look for anything that are, they whoever bought it, fix it, right? Remodel it, and you just, pick up. What you do is you pull the list, and typically if you go on PropStreams, you just pull that list, and obviously you just have to find their phone number, right? And then you just call up the realtors, and then you just pitch to them the deal. Now, Julio, when you call up these agents, man, how do you pitch your deal to the agent?
I mean, the first like 2 agents, I feel like I just overcomplicated. I said I was an investor in the area, that I wasn't interested in this house, which is not a good tactic, because if I'm not interested, why would another investor be interested?
Right.
And then I watched a couple of videos on it, and then everybody just said, just be honest, just say you're a wholesaler. And I was like, yeah, I have something under contract. It's close to something. It's in the same area that one of your investors just did a flip. Just give me your email. I'll send over the pictures. If they're interested, let me know. And since they would make buyer's commission, and they're making seller's commission when they reflip it. So it's motivation for most real estate agents.
Absolutely, man. Now, did you end up paying anything to the realtor?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So the realtor, the one that brought you the buyer, and you didn't have to pay anything to that realtor?
No, nothing.
Good for you, man. Because a lot of time, a lot of you guys is that you guys call, whether it's, another wholesaler or an agent, you basically, you're basically, I guess you are jumping ahead of the game. Typically, when I call an agent, I ask them questions, right? Hey, just like what Julio just said, you tell them about the deal and this and that, and they will let you know that, hey, if I bring a buyer, how much are you going to pay me? So let them say that, because some of them are not worried about that, because on 100,000 or on 112,000, if they make 3% from you or whatever, that's nothing, right? But if they lose the deal from you, because you might sell it to someone else where you don't have to pay the commission, right? Then they would lose out on that deal, because once their buyer fix up the property, now they can sell for 250. A 3% on a 250 is way better than a 3% commission on a 112. So remember, when you talk to agent, don't step ahead of the game. Just ask them questions and let them, the one that decide to tell you if they need you to pay them or not. Okay? Because if they don't ask, then you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Good, man. Okay, so once you find, how long did it take you to find a buyer?
The buyer I was calling a lot of Craigslist people as well, but I feel like through Craigslist is a good one, but you got to filter through them, because a lot of them are wholesalers, and they'll just offer you co-wholesale deals. That's literally it. I would just be like, yeah, whatever. And they, like 1 or 2 called me back. And then after that, I talked to 3 actual investors on Craigslist, but they didn't have the budget for it at the moment. They're like, yeah, we're interested, but we don't have the budget for it. And then that's when I went to the agents. Nice. But that was all in about, I got under contract for 60 days.
Okay.
So nice. I found the buyer within, I believe it was less than a month. It was 23-ish days, 25 days, something like that.
Okay. Now, I know a lot of you are going to ask me this question. So, Kong, what happened if we can't find a buyer? So here's a couple things that you can do if you can't find a buyer. One thing is, you got to understand that in the contract, we have what's called an inspection contingent, which means as a potential buyer, once you lock a property up in a contract, you have the rights to do your inspection, which means within that time period, right, with whatever that you and the seller agreed upon, it could be a 10, 15, 30, 40, 60, 80 days, 6 months, whatever, right? As whatever you and the seller agree upon as for a contingent inspection, within that time period, as a potential buyer, you have the rights to back out of the deal, walk away, get your deposit back, scratch free, move on to the next piece of property. Okay, but you got to make sure that you stay within that inspection period, because outside of that, then obviously you're going to forfeit and lose your earnest deposit with the seller. And that's the one beauty thing about wholesaling, is that, if you set up the contract correctly, and if you let the seller know, there's really no risk beside, wasting your time. Worst case, if you can't find a buyer, then you go back. Typically, I try to renegotiate with the seller to get a lower price and a longer time period, right? To try to see if I can still sell the property. Then the next thing, if they don't accept, then obviously you can just cancel it. Okay.
That's why also
But
off market stuff is better. My second deal where I made 7,500, it was on market. And on market, you're dealing with an agent, so he knows 10 times more about real estate than you do. So he's not going to give you anything more than 30-day closing or a 10-day inspection.
yep.
And if you're directly with the buyer, like that buyer, I put 60 days inspection and 60-day closing. So I literally had to the end of the contract to do it. That's why off the market is definitely better.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Off market, man. I mean, and now for those of you who's watching this, when you talk to a realtors, make sure that you tell them, you said, hey, you know, my partner and I, so I typically, when I call an agent, I typically tell them this. So I don't use the word wholesale because most realtors don't know what wholesaling is, and they're going to start asking you questions. It's going to come off scammy. So I typically say, hey, my partner and I, we fix and flip property in the area, but we got too much on our hand right now. We just got a property on the contract. You know, it's in a great area. It's next to whatever it is that your investor just bought. I want to know if you guys are interested, your buyers, you know, might be interested in looking at this and purchase this. And, you know, we're looking to assign, use the word assign. We're looking to assign this contract over to another fix and flipper because we got too much on our hand right now. It's a great property. We want to buy it, but we got too much on our hand right now. So you can say something like that. I typically, until I built relationship with the agent, then I can tell them, hey, we just straightly just locking this on the contract and we're just assigning it or wholesaling it once I build up the relationship with them and that they understand. But
Yeah,
anyways,
definitely.
you guys, I hope that this video add a lot of value to you. And if it does, show my guest some love. Boom, smash that thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Wholesale 2 Million family. Be sure to also smash that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. So when I upload a new video or when I go live, you get notified. But Julio, what are some things that you learned throughout the process, man, that you can share to the viewer that are trying to get their first deal done, man?
I would definitely say for people who have worked in sales in the past, especially over the phone sales, like mortgage, stuff like that, you know, it's a numbers game. It's not a science. It's literally just math. The more people you call, the more houses you're going to get under contract. More houses you get under contract, more deals you're going to close. That's simple. So if you call 100, I was watching your Q&A and the guy was talking. He's like, yeah, I called 50 numbers and I'm not motivated. I was like, yeah, and then you called 50 numbers. You got a long way to go, man. So yeah, it's just a numbers game. Realistically, for my first or other market deals was about 2,000 to 3,000 numbers per like deal per house we can get under contract, realistically. And I feel like the biggest thing is just confidence and just being motivated and going out into it. Because I think even more important than being good in sales, you could be the worst negotiator in the world. And if you just call 1,000 people super motivated, eventually you'll get one. I promise you could be the best negotiator in the world, but if you call 1,000 numbers saying this is never going to work, it's never going to work. That's simple. I feel like that's the basis of it.
I love that, bro. You know, when people tell me, when I hear people say, hey, Kong, you know, man, I have call, but everyone just say no, or everyone just want market value. Every single time when they say that, I ask them, so how many people have you talked to, or how many numbers have you called? It's always a low number. I call 10, I call 50, I call 100. Dude, try 1,000, try 2,000, try 3,000, right? So if you call 50, it doesn't work, dude, guess what you're going to do? Call 50 more. Come on, man. Shit. But dude, it's always the one that put in the very minimal amount of work and say that, hey, Kong, this doesn't work. It's always.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, when I was starting as well, I didn't know anything about real estate. I contacted a friend of mine in Florida. He was actually a realtor. I was like, hey, I'm trying to get into wholesaling and stuff. And he's like, yeah, that's being an agent, but 10 times harder. He's like, I've tried in the past. I cold called for like 15 days and it didn't work out. But I'm just extremely stubborn. I was like, dude, I can't believe that if this guy's making $150,000, $200,000 a month, that I can't make at least like 5, 10. That doesn't make sense. That's always been my thing into it. Even going into it, even if it was a lot of no's, my thing was always like, if somebody's making money, there's money to be made.
Bro, dude, that's why you're a hustler and you're an entrepreneur, dude. That mindset, bro, killer. It's like, hey, when you tell me it can't be done, I'll show you how it can be.
Yeah, exactly. It's one thing if no one's making money, but if you have people making millions of dollars a year off it, and it's not just one, it's like there's a lot of people. There's you, there's obviously Jerry, he's a whole network, but you put Talk to People, I think is his name. He only wholesales as well, and he has a huge business on top of that. So the numbers are there. It's just basically my biggest thing was, how can I get it to your guys' level? What steps do I need to take? And that's the steps I'm taking right now. I'm even taking a step back from even calling and all that stuff to just setting together a business plan to move from realistically, we did 20 grand a month because I've been in this for 2 months. Move from 20 to 50, 100,000 and always upping the scales. What do I need to do to that? I know you probably have a lot of VAs, a lot of people calling daily. At the moment, I only have one. So I probably need to get those numbers up realistically and just see what type of lists I can get as well. Outside lists as well. PropStream is good, but everybody uses PropStream. I feel like that's a little bit of the problem with PropStream. But there's a lot of third parties. Batch Leads, they sell leads as well. That's also a good place to buy as well. I'm buying from there too.
Good for you, man. I mean, dude, it seems like you already kind of have all the plan together of how you're going to scale. And it's just about increasing your marketing and just increasing your team, getting more people to jump on, do more cold call, pull bigger lists. And that's pretty much it.
Obviously, so, I know for like some people, I know for some people it's they can't do what I did because maybe they're starting from zero, like they need the cash flow coming in. But I haven't touched any of the money I made in the US. That's going all into reinvesting. Because like thankfully, thank God, I don't need any money here in Brazil, but that money is just going into reinvesting. Like I've opened LLCs in the US, and then potentially getting into flipping. But realistically, I think I'd rather get into holding and just keep wholesaling and get into that.
Bro, I think that is a smarter choice. Listen, man, yes, there are people that successfully fix and flip, but let me tell you, I went to a mastermind, a CGs, some guys and gals in there are just killing it, $500,000, $1 million a month. The person that makes the most, doing the least amount of work, having the best lifestyle is the wholesaler. Yeah. Trust me, the fix and flip game is it's not like what you think, especially doing it across the country, dude. Dude, like, so I keep mine very simple, dude. I just take the money I make from wholesaling and then I just buy rental property. That's it.
Well, yeah, my idea would probably be going more into holdings. It is more secure, like you said, and being so far away and only going to the US maybe 2-3 times a year. And I don't really plan on going back because it is good money, like $40,000 is good money. But my business in Brazil is still making better numbers at the moment. So I'd have to be here. But that's what I plan on going to, just upping those numbers. And like you said, once you can get it to a point where you have 3-4 cold callers calling for you, you're going to be making 100 calls a month, if even that. Like I made 3 calls today, and one of those is a house I got under contract. And the other one asked me to call him back later, and I'll give him a call back later.
Good for you, bro. Good for you. So, man, we're going to wrap this up. So, Julio, how can people connect with you, bro?
They can have my Instagram. I mean, I'm private on Instagram, but I can leave my Instagram if you guys want.
Sure.
It's Julio, JULIO, _ Correa, CORREA, and then __. I'll unprivate it after this. But yeah, if they want to send me anything, want to network, I'm in Florida, but I do everything. Yeah, I'd be interested as well. I'd tips, anything.
Awesome. So, Julio, after we're done, man, can you send the link, the Instagram link over to the email so that way we can add it to the descriptions?
Yeah, sounds good. Anybody
awesome. You guys, thank you so much for watching. Once again, I hope this video added a lot of value to you, and thank you so much for the love, for the support. Julio, until next time, bro. Take care, dude.
All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.